When did military rations actually taste good? Never thought I'd say this, but it happened during my second deployment to Afghanistan. We'd been stuck on this remote outpost for 3 months, eating nothing but MREs and whatever canned garbage the supply choppers could drop. I was a machine gunner with the 101st Airborne, and our forward operating base was basically a collection of sandbags and hope in the middle of nowhere. No mess hall, no hot food, just endless cases of meals ready to eat that tasted like cardboard soaked in sadness. The situation got worse when our resupply got delayed. Taliban had been hitting our choppers, so command grounded all non-essential flights. We were down to our last week of rations, and morale was in the toilet. That's when Private Miller, our youngest guy at 19, came up with the most brilliant idea in military history. He'd been hoarding Tabasco sauce packets from his care packages, and he started experimenting. First, he mixed the cheese tortellini MRE with chili mac and added hot sauce. Sounds disgusting, right? Wrong. It was actually edible. Then he started trading components between different meals, creating these weird fusion dishes. The breakthrough came when he combined the beef stew with crackers, peanut butter, and somehow made it taste like an actual sandwich. Word spread through our platoon like wildfire. Suddenly, everyone wanted Miller's cooking tips. But the real magic happened 3 weeks later. We'd been in contact with Taliban fighters for 6 straight days. Constant sniper fire, mortars dropping randomly, no sleep, and we were surviving on cold MREs eaten in our fighting positions. On day 7, the shooting finally stopped. We were exhausted, filthy, and starving. Miller broke out his secret stash and started cooking. Using nothing but MRE components and his hot sauce collection, he created what we called the Victory Feast. Somehow, after days of thinking we might die, those modified military rations tasted like the finest restaurant meal I'd ever eaten. The beef patty tasted like steak. The instant potatoes were better than my grandmother's recipe. Even the crackers seemed gourmet. It wasn't the food that changed. It was us. When you're that hungry, that tired, that grateful to be alive, everything tastes amazing. When you realize you survived another firefight, even processed cheese spread becomes a delicacy. The whole squad sat in a circle, sharing Miller's creations and actually laughing. For 30 minutes, we forgot we were in a war zone. We were just guys sharing a meal, grateful for hot food and each other's company. Miller got promoted to specialist partly because of his cooking innovation. Command heard about his morale enhancement through nutritional creativity and made him the unofficial food coordinator for our outpost. He started teaching other soldiers his techniques. Pretty soon, half the base was experimenting with MRE modifications. We had competitions to see who could create the most edible combination. It became a thing. The best part was when Miller's techniques spread to other units. Soldiers would trade recipes like they were sharing military intelligence. Have you tried mixing the chili with cornbread and M&Ms? Life-changing. I came home with a notebook full of his recipes. My wife thought I was crazy when I tried to recreate them in our kitchen using civilian ingredients. They tasted terrible. Turns out you need to be half-starved and completely exhausted for the magic to work. But I'll never forget that moment when military rations actually tasted good. Not because they improved, but because we were so happy to be alive to eat them.